Good morning everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app. You can attempt the quiz in this app and you can read detailed explanation. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. We have started a new channel, Civils Academy. You can subscribe to it if you find it relevant. Now one more thing. The link of this Telegram channel is given in description and revision PDF are uploaded on this Telegram channel. So please check it from there. Now let's start. START, that is Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, is an agreement between which two countries? So it is an agreement between USA and Russia. Name of agreement is Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. As the name suggests, it is a treaty to reduce the arms. Arms means nuclear arms. So it is for reduction and limitation of strategic nuclear arms by USA and Russia. Why it was in news? Because recently this treaty was about to expire. Now it has been given the extension and that is why it was in news. This was signed in 2010. Recently this was given extension. Now in the context of nuclear arms, recently one more treaty was in news and it is Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. So this treaty was adopted in 2017 by United Nations. What is the name of rare Martian mineral which has been recently discovered in Antarctic ice? Name of this mineral is jarosite. It was recently discovered in Antarctic ice. It is a yellow-brown mineral and it is rarely seen on Earth. Usually it is found on Mars and that is why it is being called as Martian mineral, because it is found on Mars. On surface of Earth, it is rarely found, but we discovered it on Antarctic ice. Now recently, Hope probe was also in news. It is a mission on Mars and it is a mission by UAE, that is United Arab Emirates. Recently, China's first independent mission on Mars was also in news and it is Tianwen-1. Recently, UAE was also in news because of Abraham Accord. Under Abraham Accord, USA played a key role in normalization of ties between UAE and Israel. What is the name of India's initiative to deliver COVID-19 vaccine to the friendly countries? The name of this initiative is Vaccine Matri. Under this initiative, we are providing vaccines to the neighboring countries. Now, in the context of vaccine, for the overall monitoring of entire vaccination process, the CoWIN platform was launched. Apart from that, recently, an empowered group was constituted for COVID-19 vaccine and this group is headed by Mr. R.S. Sharma, that is Ram Sevak Sharma. He is the former chairperson of TRAI, that is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Recently, he was in news as he has been appointed as the next CEO of NHA. NHA stands for National Health Authority. So NHA is the implementing authority of Ayushman Bharat Health Scheme. Which Indian state is to play the host of International Conference on Gender Equality? So it is going to be Kerala. Recently, Kerala was also in news as first gender park is going to be in Kozhikode in Kerala. The event, that means the International Conference on Gender Equality, is going to be in February 2021 and the Chief Minister will inaugurate this gender park at Kozhikode. Kerala was also in news because of Arya Rajendran. She is the youngest mayor of India and she became the mayor from the Thiruvananthapuram city in Kerala. Global Climate Litigation Report has been released by which organization? So it has been released by UNEP, that is United Nations Environment Programme. Title of the report is Global Climate Litigation Report. So as per the report, the number of climate litigation cases around the world has almost doubled. UNEP is United Nations organization. The headquarters of UNEP is in Nairobi in Kenya. Which Indian company has emerged as the 5th strongest brand as per the Brand Finance Global 500 ranking? So as per this ranking, Reliance Jio is on 5th position. Reliance Jio is owned by Mr. Mukesh Ambani and it is the 5th strongest brand globally. Now this is very significant because Reliance Jio was founded only in 2016. So it is a new organization. Despite that, it has achieved this milestone. List is topped by WeChat. So WeChat is on top position. From Indian side, Reliance Jio is on top position and overall it is on 5th position. Ferrari is on 2nd position. The World Gold Demand Trends Report is released by which organization? So it is released by World Gold Council. As per this council, the gold purchased by the central banks of different countries sharply declined in 2020, and the decline is approximately 60%. So you just need to remember the trend that in 2020 it declined. Report was released by World Gold Council. The headquarters of World Gold Council is in London in UK. Recently UK was in news as it is the host of COP26. It is going to be in Glasgow. COP25 held in Spain in Madrid under the presidency of Chile government. Which country has requested for the debt restructuring at IMF under the new common framework? So this country is Chad, that is Republic of Chad, and it is a landlocked country in the North Central Africa. Now first thing first, what is debt restructuring? Debt restructuring means you are not able to repay your debt. So you are saying that please change the terms and condition of this debt so that I can repay it. Suppose previously the interest rate was 5% and you had to pay it in 2 years. Now you are saying that no, I won't be able to repay it in 2 years. I need more time, say 5 years. So the debt will be restructured according to this plan. Obviously you will have to pay more interest in this because you are taking more time to repay. So this is one simplest example of debt restructuring. Which country has launched a new variant assessment platform? This is a platform to monitor or to track the new variants of coronavirus. This has been launched by UK. Recently, a new strain of virus was found in UK. UK was also in news as it is the host of G7 summit this year, and UK has invited India, Australia and South Korea for this. UK was also in news because of D10. D10 is a group of 10 democracies. This was suggested by UK as an alternate to reduce dependency on China for 5G equipments. That means to reduce the dependency on China, a similar initiative was started by 3 other countries. It is SCRI, that is Supply Chain Resilience Initiative, and it is initiative by India, Japan and Australia. Union Cabinet has cleared a policy for the privatization of which of the following entities? So for the privatization of PSU, that is Public Sector Undertakings, Union Cabinet has approved a policy. As per this policy, government should completely exit from the non-strategic sectors. What does that mean? See, there are 2 types of sectors, non-strategic and strategic. So, as per this policy, government should not involve in the business related to non-strategic sectors. So, government should exit from this. In case of strategic, government should have presence of 1 to 4 entities. That means 1 to 4 PSU, that is Public Sector Undertakings. So, as per this policy, in non-strategic sectors, government should privatize and disinvest. Answer in comment box, what is the difference between privatization and disinvestment? Which country has recently signed Memorandum of Understanding with International Energy Agency for strengthening cooperation in global energy security? So for this purpose, IEA, that is International Energy Agency, has signed agreement with India. Why this agreement has been signed? It has been signed for cooperation in global energy security. Now IEA is a Paris-based organization. It is in France. It is an intergovernmental organization which was established on the framework of OECD, that is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Which international organization conducted the event on restoring cross-border mobility? So this was organized by WEF, that is World Economic Forum. Now because of coronavirus pandemic, there was lockdown. Now to restore the cross-border mobility means movement from one country to another country. So to restore this, World Economic Forum organized an event, and recently Union Health Ministry addressed the event. The objective is to reopen borders and enable essential travel in a safe and sustainable method. Recently, this World Economic Forum was also in news because of Addition Alliance. So this alliance has been set up by World Economic Forum to reduce the digital divide. The alliance is covered in detail in 1st February video. India conducted a joint forum meet with which country under its Act East policy? So, recently India conducted its 5th Act East forum meeting with Japan. The meeting was co-chaired by Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla. So, Mr. Shringla is our Foreign Secretary. Mr. S. Jaishankar is our Minister of External Affairs. Now, there are 2 terms. First is Look East and second term is Act East. So, this Look East policy was launched by former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao in 1991. the main intention of this policy was to give more priority to the countries which are in eastern side of India. That means the Asian countries. Later, this Look East policy was upgraded to Act East policy by the current Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. So Look East was launched by Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao and Act East was launched by Mr. Modi. And this was launched during East Asia Summit in 2014, and this summit held in Myanmar. What is our stand in STARS project that has been co-sponsored by World Bank? So, what is STARS? It is strengthening teaching, learning and results for the states. So, the objective is to improve the quality of education in 6 selected states. This is a project by Ministry of Education, and for this project it has collaborated with World Bank. So World Bank is going to provide the financial support for this project. Project is for the improvement of quality of education in 6 states of our country. Recently it was in news because the agreement for the financial support of the project was signed with World Bank, and this project will be implemented by Department of School Education. This Department of School Education is under Ministry of Education. As per the report released by Alvarez and Marshall India, what is the average time taken for the resolution in India under IBC as on September 2020? What is IBC? IBC is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So suppose there is a firm A1. It took loan, but business was not sustainable, so it filed for the bankruptcy. Now, in how much time this entire process will be solved and this entire process will be over? The question is that the average time taken for resolution of such firms is 440 days. This is on the basis of a report by Alvarez and Marshall India. Which ministry has recently introduced changes to the corporate social responsibility rules? So the CSR is related to Companies Act, and Companies Act is related to MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Recently, MCA introduced certain changes to the CSR rules, and one such change is impact assessment. Now, first thing first, what is CSR? So as the name suggests, it is the social responsibility of corporates. That means corporates need to take certain social initiatives. For example, a corporate company is financing a project of child education or a project of sanitation. Now, what will be the impact of this project? This is called as impact assessment. That means how this project is going to change the life of people. So under the new rules, it is mandatory to disclose all the CSR projects which are taken by a particular company, and it is also mandatory to show the information of CSR committee composition of that company. Which tech major has announced the proprietary technology for charging multiple electronic devices in wireless mode. That means the technology of charging different electronic devices without any wire or any cable. So recently this Chinese technology company Xiaomi was in news. It has announced Mi Air Charge. This is a new wireless charging technology that has been patented by the company. So with this technology, multiple electronic devices can be charged without any cable or any port or any wireless charging stand. Now the company has announced that this is still in the concept phase and it will take a lot of time to be commercially available. Which construction major has bagged the contract for the construction of steel bridges for the Mumbai and Ahmedabad bullet train project? So this has been bagged by L&T Construction. So it is going to build the steel bridges for the Mumbai and Ahmedabad bullet train project. And this project has been bagged as a consortium. Consortium means a group of companies. So one is L&T and another is Japan's IHI Infrastructure Systems. As per the Economic Survey 2020-21, what would be the India's GDP growth rate in fiscal year 21-22? So India's GDP growth rate is going to be 11% in fiscal year 21-22. In the current fiscal year, the growth is minus 7.7%. Recently, Economic Survey was tabled. Now, this Economic Survey is annual document which is prepared by the DEA, that is Department of Economic Affairs, and this DEA is under Finance Ministry. The Government of India has approved the closure of its state-owned company recently. So this is the Scooters India Limited. Recently, central government approved the closure of this company. This was incorporated in 1972 and the headquarters is in Lucknow. So this was manufacturing scooters and this was facing loss, and that is why now it will be closed. Recently, Lucknow was in news as Lucknow Metro became the first metro in our country to sanitize metro coaches using UV rays. Which state has recently reduced the VAT? VAT stands for value added tax rate for petrol and diesel by 2%. Now, one important point is that this name of state is not so important for central exams, but you need to remember that right now petrol, diesel and other fuels are outside the purview of GST. This is important. So since they are outside the purview of GST, the state governments impose tax on these fuels and state government determine the VAT on these fuels. What is VAT? It is value added tax. So recently Rajasthan reduced the VAT on petrol and diesel and this was reduced by 2%. What is the corpus of Startup India Seed Fund scheme which was approved recently? So it is 945 crore rupees. This is a new fund which has been approved by the government and it is Startup India Seed Fund. Recently Prarambh Summit was organized by the Commerce Ministry and during that summit it was announced. Now it has been approved, that's why it was in news. This Prarambh Summit was organized to commemorate the 5 years of Startup India scheme. This scheme was launched in 2016. It is a scheme related to Department of Commerce and for this Prarambh Summit, BIMSTEC was the key partner. The headquarters of BIMSTEC is in Dhaka in Bangladesh. External Affairs Minister Mr. S. Jaishankar proposed 8 guiding principles to repair the strained relationship with which country? So this country is our neighbor China. So first and foremost, it is about India and China relationship. Second thing is that this 8 guiding principles were proposed by our External Affairs Minister Mr. S. Jaishankar. Now recently China was also in news as it is the country with biggest current account surplus. Previously Germany was on this position, now China is on top position. USA is the country with biggest current account deficit. Next question is Chauri Chaura is a town located in which Indian state? So it is in Uttar Pradesh near Gorakhpur. Now it was in news because this time this incident, now it was in news because of Chauri Chaura incident. Now first thing first, please note that in certain media reports it is shown that this Chauri Chaura incident took place on 5th of February. However, as per the official documents by the UP government, it is 4th of February. So please remember this. Now on this day in 1922, there was a clash between Britisher police and people of India and this led to the violence, and because of this violence Gandhiji decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement on 12th of February. Next question is what was INFAC T81 which was in news recently? So it was a naval craft and it served in Indian Navy for more than 20 years and it was useful in surveillance and search and rescue. It was commissioned in Indian Navy in 1999. Recently it was in news because it was decommissioned at Naval Dockyard in Mumbai and this was built at Goa Shipyard Limited in collaboration with Israel manufacturer. Next question is what is the full form of BNI which was mentioned in the economic survey? So it is Bare Necessities Index and it specifies the access to bare necessities like drinking water, sanitation, housing conditions. So this index lists 26 indicators on 5 dimensions. These are water, sanitation, housing, microenvironment and other facilities. So as per the recent survey, the access to bare necessities, that means access to these bare necessities, improved in all states if we compare 2012 and 2018. That means in 2018, the access to all these bare necessities increased in all states. Next question is NABFID, the new bank which is proposed to be set up is to finance which sector? So this has been proposed to finance the infrastructure projects. What is NABFID? It is National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development. So a bill has been introduced in the budget session for this. So this will finance the infrastructure projects. Now if we talk about Parliament, there are 3 sessions BMW, that is budget, monsoon and winter session. Now this developmental financial institution, that is DFI, will act as a principal institution for financing the infrastructure projects. first thing first, what is DFI? That is Development Financial Institution. It means this institution is going to finance the projects which may not be commercially viable. Suppose, in case of Arunachal Pradesh, we have to install mobile towers. Next question is, which country is to introduce a bill to ban all private cryptocurrencies and to create a sovereign digital currency? So, it will be done by our country, and this will be done by our central bank, Reserve Bank of India. Sovereign digital currency means currency which has been issued or approved by the government or the country. So, in this context, a legislative framework is expected, and that is why it was in news. Now, RBI was also in news because of PIDF, that is Payment Infrastructure Development Fund. Next question is, which country has the highest share in global Basmati rice trade? So, India has the highest share. In fact, India has a contribution of 65% share in the global Basmati trade. Why it was in news? Because both India and Pakistan are claiming GI tag for its Basmati rice in European Union. However, the problem was that Pakistan had not given the status of GI tag to Basmati rice in its own country. Recently, Pakistan gave this status of GI tag to the Basmati rice in its own country, and that is why now both countries are competing in European Union for GI tag. GI stands for Geographical Indication. Next question is, as per the recent research, by what percentage the number of oceanic sharks and rays have declined in Indian Ocean? So recently, a study was published in a journal Nature. As per this study, sharks and rays declined in Indian Ocean by 84.7%. Globally, the decline is by 71% since last 50 years. Next question is, which country recently commenced operations in its Hualong 1-unit nuclear reactor? So this country is China. Recently, it started operations or commercial operations in its Hualong 1-unit, and this is a third generation pressurized water nuclear reactor, and this is in Fujian province. A hole which was making news recently for its refugee camp is a town in which country? So it is in Syria. Syria is a country in West Asia. So it is a refugee camp. As you can see, this is the location of this camp. So it is largest camp for refugees and displaced Syrians in the country, and it is located in the northeast of Syria. So in simplest term, it is a refugee camp. That means refugees coming from the different parts of the country are settling here. Now, recently, United Nations Counter-Terrorism Chief has requested countries to repatriate the children which are stranded in this massive camp. Repatriate means to send them or to send these children back to their home. Now, please note that every year on 20th of June, World Refugee Day is observed. Which Indian company is going to launch a new COVID-19 vaccine under brand name Covax? So, it will be launched by Serum Institute of India, and it is going to launch a new vaccine. Name is Covax, and for this it has partnered with American vaccine developer Novavax. Now, Serum Institute of India has already launched Covishield, and this was developed in partnership with the Oxford University and with the AstraZeneca. Now, the Serum Institute of India is a Pune-based institution, and Adar Poonawalla is the chairperson of this institution. Pune is in Maharashtra. In which of India's neighboring countries military has taken control? So recently there was a coup in Myanmar. Myanmar is also known as Burma. So military has taken control in Myanmar, and it has declared 1 year of emergency. The prominent figure from government, Aung San Suu Kyi, has been detained. C is the head of NLD. What is NLD? It is the name of party that was in power, and it is National League for Democracy. And C was given Nobel Prize in 1991 for her non-violent struggle for democracy and human rights in Myanmar. Who is the chairperson of 15th Finance Commission? So recently it was in news because the commission has submitted its report, and this was headed by Mr. N.K. Singh. So recently the commission has submitted 117 core recommendation. Now, Finance Commission is a constitutional body. It is constituted as per the provisions of Article 280, and it is constituted by the President of India for 5 years. That means after every 5 years, this Finance Commission is constituted. The first such Finance Commission was constituted in 1951, and at that point of time, the chairperson of This Finance Commission was Mr. K.C. Nyogi. What is the full form of OPC, which was in news during the recent budget? So OPC stands for one person company. That means one person can set up as a company. Recently, it was in news because now non-residents can set up one person company. So this will benefit startups. For non-residents Indians, previously the residency requirement was 182 days. Now it is 120 days. So this will help in ease of doing business. Next question is, as per the budget 2021-22, what is the estimated fiscal deficit for the current financial year? So for the current financial year, the estimated fiscal deficit is 9.5% of GDP. For next fiscal year, it is expected to be 6.8%. And the target is to keep the fiscal deficit below 4.5% of GDP by 2025-26. What is the new FDI limit in insurance companies as proposed in Union Budget 2021-22? So the previous limit was 49%. Now it has been proposed that it should be allowed up to 74%. That means up to 74% FDI, that is foreign direct investment, should be allowed in insurance sector. And for this purpose, Insurance Act of 1938 should be amended. Apart from that, foreign ownership with safeguard would be allowed in insurance sector. Now, one more thing. In case of insurance, LIC was also in news as IPO of LIC will be launched this year. What is IPO? It is initial public offering. That means the shares of LIC can be purchased by the public. How many new minor forest produce items have been added under the marketing of minor forest produce through MSP scheme? So total 14 new minor forest produce items have been included in this marketing of minor forest produce through MSP scheme. Now first thing first, let me explain you the background story. So tribal people are living in forest. They collect different forest products. Now what government is trying? Government is trying to fix MSP for these products so that these tribal people can sell these items and can earn decent amount of money. What is the outlay for PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana? So the outlay is 64,180 crores. This is a new scheme which has been announced by the government and it is for health sector. It is a new centrally sponsored scheme. See, there are two types of schemes. One is centrally sponsored, one is central sector scheme. So in central sector scheme, central government will manage entire financial sources. In centrally sponsored scheme, both central and state government are going to provide the financial support for that particular scheme. So this is a centrally sponsored scheme. The allocation is of 64,180 crore over a period of 6 years, and this will focus on upgrading our capacities of primary, secondary and tertiary healthcare system. What is the name of global conference being hosted by Kerala State Planning Board? So the name of this conference is Kerala Looks Ahead. So it aims to frame the roadmap for long-term development in the state. Now recently, Kerala was also in news as it is the first state to announce MSP for vegetables. It was also in news because of Arya Rajendran, as she is the youngest mayor in our country and she is mayor from the Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. What is the outlay of the Deep Ocean Mission which was announced recently in the Union Budget? So it is 4,000 crore rupees and it has been announced for over 5 years. So this is about the exploration of ocean and this will also include projects to conserve the deep sea biodiversity. So it will have projects to explore the resources plus to conserve the biodiversity in the ocean. RBI has appointed an external firm to audit HDFC Bank under the provisions of which act? So it is Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Recently, RBI appointed an external professional IT firm to carry out the special audit of the entire IT infrastructure of HDFC Bank. Previously, RBI had already penalized the HDFC Bank for repeated service failures in the internet banking. Now, to make sure that everything is appropriate in the infrastructure of HDFC Bank, RBI has appointed this external firm to audit. And this has been done as per the provisions of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Which technology company has launched a new initiative called Startup School? So this has been launched by Google. The parent company of Google is Alphabet. Recently, Alphabet was in news as it announced that it is going to drop its Project Loon. So Project Loon was a project that was started to provide internet connectivity in the unconnected areas with the help of balloons. Now, Alphabet has announced that they are going to discontinue this project. Google was also in news as recently it acquired Fitbit, which Space Agency has announced the launch of its first all-civilian mission to space. So this has been announced by SpaceX. SpaceX is a company by Elon Musk. So this is going to be a all-civilian mission. All-civilian means everyone will be a civilian. So the mission will be first all-commercial astronaut mission to the orbit. Name is Inspiration 4. So please remember this name. This is important. And this will be launched using the Falcon 9 rocket of SpaceX. SpaceX is a company by Elon Musk. And this mission is a charity-focused mission commanded by Gerard Isaacman. So Gerard Isaacman is an American businessman. Patti Chitra, which was in news, is a popular art form of which state or union territory. So it is related to Odisha. It is a traditional style of painting on a cloth-based scroll. Why it was in news? Because recently Prime Minister Mr. Modi mentioned it during his Man Ki Baat radio program, and that is why it was in news. So Patti Chitra is a style of painting and it is associated with Odisha. Now with the help of this art form, the artist sometimes try to convey the mythological stories. Which Indian city is the venue of Global Air Show Aero India? So for this time, that means for the 13th edition, Bengaluru is the host and it is organized at Yelahanka Air Force Station in Bengaluru. Now please remember this is the 13th edition and it is hosted by Defense Exhibition Organization. It is under MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. Now recently this Yelahanka Air Force Station was also in news because the Defense Minister inaugurated Chief of Air Staff Conclave at this Air Force Station, and this is in Bengaluru in Karnataka. India's first amputee clinic has been recently launched in which city? So recently this was launched in Chandigarh in Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research, and it is first amputee clinic of India. So this will provide the holistic services to its patient. This will include social, mental and physical support to its patients. Chandigarh is the joint capital of Haryana and Punjab. As per a recent research, protein-based devices have been designed to detect which disease? So this disease is COVID-19. So scientists have developed a new protein-based biosensor to detect the novel coronavirus. Let me explain you in simplified language. Suppose this is coronavirus. Now on the surface of this virus there is a protein. Now with the help of this new method, this protein will be identified. Now this will be emitting light. That means once it will identify the protein, it will bind with this protein and then it will emit light, and that is how we can detect whether it is a virus or not. So this device recognizes the unique molecules which are present on the surface of virus and then they are going to bind to them, and therefore they will emit light through biochemical reaction. So this is how we are going to detect it. Now this method is faster than RT-PCR method. So the first question is, the Supreme Court has directed which mutual fund company to distribute 9122 crores to its unit holders? So this is related to Franklin Templeton Mutual Fund. Now, few months ago, this company abruptly closed 6 schemes, and that is why the investors were worried about it. The matter reached Supreme Court. Now, Supreme Court has directed this Franklin Templeton company to distribute this 9122 crore rupees to its unit holders. Next question is, Defense Ministry has signed a deal to procure Tejas LCA, that is light combat aircraft, from which organization? So Tejas is related to HAL. HAL is Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Recently, Defense Minister inaugurated a new plant at HAL in Bengaluru. HAL is a public sector undertaking under MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. Headquarters is in Bengaluru. Next question is, manufacturing zones under Atmanirbhar Bharat package scheme is to be implemented by which union ministry? So it will be implemented by Ministry of Power. Recently, during budget, this manufacturing zones under Atmanirbhar Bharat package was announced. Under this package, in the upcoming time, 1500 crore rupees will be allocated. Next question is, what does R stand in a statutory body of India? NCPCR. So what is NCPCR? NCPCR is a National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. It is a statutory body. Statutory body means by law this has been created. Recently it was in news because of a company Fenty Beauty. Now, this company is owned by pop star Rihanna. In which state Kalivali Lake is located? So, it is in Tamil Nadu. It is a coastal lake and it is second largest brackish water lake in southern India after Lake Pulicat. Why it was in news? Because recently the district administration issued the first declaration under the WPA, that is Wildlife Protection Act, to declare this wetland as a bird sanctuary. So, first thing first, this is a coastal lake and a wetland. Second is, it is in Tamil Nadu, and to be specific, this is in Vallipuram district. Next question is, which union ministry has launched a unified portal for Gobardhan scheme? Now, this has been done by Ministry of Jal Shakti. Actually, recently a portal for this Gobardhan scheme was launched. This scheme was launched to manage the cattle and biodegradable waste. This way, this scheme helps farmers to increase their income. Now, recently this scheme was in news because of this new portal. The portal is going to track the progress made under this scheme. Now, this scheme, that means this Gobardhan scheme, is implemented under Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen phase. Next question is, what is the new milestone achieved in India's foreign portfolio investment as of 2020? So, a new milestone has been achieved in terms of FPI, that is foreign portfolio investment in India, and it is $31.7 billion. This is highest investment in a financial year since 2012-13. Now, what is FPI? That is foreign portfolio investment. So, when non-residents invest, that means those who are outside India, if these people invest in Indian share, bond and securities, then this investment is considered as foreign portfolio investment. So your homework is to read about the difference between FPI and FDI. Next question is, Pragyan Bharati and Bhasha Gaurav are the recent initiatives of which state? So these are the recent initiatives of Assam. Chief Minister is Sarvanand Sonowal. Under this Pragyan Bharati initiative, funding will be provided to the college students for purchasing textbooks, and under Bhasha Gaurav initiative, the state government is going to provide financial assistance to the literary bodies. That is Sahitya Sabha. Next question is, which country hosted the Indian Ocean Region Defense Ministers Conclave in February 2021? So this is hosted by India on the sidelines of Aero India 2021. So this is world's first hybrid aero show, and this was organized in Bengaluru. And on the sidelines of this event, India hosted Indian Ocean Region Defense Ministers Conclave. And the theme was Enhanced Peace, Security and Cooperation in Indian Ocean. And during this event, India announced that it is going to supply missile systems, light combat aircraft and other weapons to the countries which are friendly to India in Indian Ocean region. Next question is, what is the classification of fishing cat as per IUCN Red List? Now, first thing first, what is IUCN? It is International Union for Conservation of Nature. So, it published a red list of species which are threatened. So, there are different categories: endangered, critically endangered, threatened, vulnerable. Now, the question is, what is the classification of fishing cat as per this categorization? So, as per this, fishing cat is a vulnerable species, and this cat is found in the wetlands and in mangrove systems. Recently, it was in news because this Fishing Cat Conservation Alliance started a worldwide campaign to spread awareness about the conservation of these cats. Unique thing is that these are found in wetlands and in mangrove systems. And this cat is nocturnal. Nocturnal means active in night. Next question is, SEBI has banned the chairperson and promoters of which company from the securities market? So this company is Future Group. And SEBI has banned the chairperson of Future Retails, and he is Kishore Biyani. So now SEBI, that is Security Exchange Board of India, has banned chairperson of Future Retail and other promoters from the securities market for 1 year. And this was because of insider trading. Now, what is insider trading? That means you have some classified information, and on the basis of that information, you are processing the trading. This is illegal. That means this insider trading is illegal. SEBI is Securities Exchange Board of India. Now, recently, this Future Group was also in news because of its dispute with Amazon. Actually, Future Group is collaborating with Reliance, and Amazon is not happy with this collaboration. As per Amazon, this is violation of an agreement between Future Group and Amazon. And because of this, Amazon has moved to Delhi High Court against this deal between Future Group and Reliance Retail. You need not to go in too much detail, but you should know which entities are involved. Which Indian company has partnered with UNICEF to distribute vaccines around the world? So this company is Serum Institute of India. It has partnered with UNICEF. Now, please note that for vaccine, Serum Institute of India has collaborated with AstraZeneca and Oxford. The headquarters of Serum Institute of India is in Pune and the CEO is Adar Poonawalla. Pune is in Maharashtra. Recently, Maharashtra was in news because the government has announced a new scheme under which they are going to help companies to file IT patents. Next question is Dominic Ongwen, who was convicted by ICC, that is International Criminal Court, for war crimes, is from which country? So, Dominic Ongwen is from Uganda, and Dominic Ongwen led Brigade of Lord's Resistance Army was accused of war crimes, and that is why Dominic Ongwen has been convicted by International Criminal Court. So, few important points from exam perspective. First thing first, country of Dominic Ongwen. So, country is Uganda. Name of organization is Lord's Resistance Army. This was involved in war crimes. He was convicted by International Criminal Court. The headquarters of International Criminal Court is in The Hague in Netherlands. Next question is which union ministry has tied up with Zomato to implement the PM Swanidhi scheme? So, first thing first, you need to understand this PM Swanidhi scheme. So, it is a scheme through which government is going to provide credit to the street vendors. And it is a scheme by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And for this scheme, obviously, this ministry has collaborated with Zomato. What is the full form of PM Swanidhi? It stands for Prime Minister Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi. So now, Zomato will provide assistance to these street vendors so that they can set up their business online with the help of Zomato and they can have wider market access. Apart from that, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs also launched a mobile application for PM Swanidhi, say Smriddhi. So this will link the beneficiaries of this scheme with the other government initiatives. Next question is which institution announced a scheme which enables retail participation in government securities market? So this has been announced by RBI, that is our central bank. So now retail investors will be able to participate in the government securities market. Government securities are also known as GSEC. They are also known as gilt-edged securities. So now the retail investors shall have the facility to open the gilt securities account with RBI. Next question is as per the Monetary Policy Committee decisions, what is the expected cash reserve ratio by May 2021? So it is going to be 4%. Now, recently Monetary Policy Committee was in news because of its meeting, and on the basis of that meeting, RBI announced that it will start increasing the CRR rate from 3% to 4% in next 4 months. So this is going to happen in two phases. In first phase, they are going to increase from 3 to 3.5% and then from 3.5 to 4%. So in May 2021, it is expected to be at 4%. Next question is India's first thunderstorm research test bed is to be set up in which state or union territory? So IMD, that is India Meteorological Department, announced that India's first thunderstorm research test bed will be set up in Balasore in Odisha. And this is going to be a collaboration between different entities of government. So first, it is going to be a collaboration between Ministry of Earth Sciences plus DRDO, that is Defense Research and Development Organization, and ISRO, that is Indian Space Research Organization. Now, first thing first, this IMD is under Ministry of Earth Sciences. Present IMD director is Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra. Next question is which global digital payment company has announced to shut down its payment operations in India? So this was announced by PayPal. It is American digital payments company and it is going to shut down its services from 1st of April. Next question is which ministry is going to conduct 4 national surveys to study the status of migrants and domestic workforce? So this will be conducted by Ministry of Labor and Employment. It is going to conduct 4 national surveys to study the status of migrants and domestic workforce. Now who is going to conduct the survey? It will be conducted by Labor Bureau, and this Labor Bureau is under Ministry of Labor and employment. Next question is, Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited is situated in which Indian state or union territory? So, it is situated in Andhra Pradesh, in Visakhapatnam. Why it was in news? Because recently cabinet approved the privatization of this RINL. It is also known as Vizag Steel. Vizag because it is located in Visakhapatnam. That's why it is known as Vizag Steel. Now this has two subsidiaries. One is Odisha Minerals Development Company and second is Birsa Stone Lime Company. So this is RINL. It has two subsidiaries. One is OMDC, second is BSLC. So now cabinet has approved its privatization. It is a Navratna company. Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, which crossed 1.75 crore beneficiaries, is a scheme under which union ministry? So recently it was in news because it crossed 1.75 crore beneficiaries. It is a scheme under Ministry of Women and Child Development. It was launched in 2016. Under the scheme, the pregnant women and lactating mothers receive 5,000 rupees on birth of their first child in 3 installments. That means this money is given in 3 installments on the birth of their first child. As per the union budget, what is the limit for tax-free interest on Provident Fund contributions? So it is 2.5 lakhs. Recently, the union budget has proposed to impose taxation on the interest income on Provident Fund accounts where the contribution exceeds 2.5 lakhs a year. That means if the contribution is above 2.5 lakhs in a year, then taxation will be applicable on the interest income. Which country has settled a $400 million currency swap facility with India? So this country is our neighbor Sri Lanka. And recently, Indian High Commission has announced that Sri Lanka has settled $400 million currency swap facility with India. Actually, last year, RBI and Central Bank of Sri Lanka signed this currency swap agreement under SAARC currency swap framework. Now, this currency swap facility is available to all SAARC members. US President Joe Biden announced to end the country's support for Saudi-led military operations in which country? So this country is Yemen. So recently, US President Joe Biden announced that USA is going to end its support for the military operations in Yemen. And Saudi Arabia is leading these military operations in Yemen. So in simplest term, the current US administration is making an efforts to end the civil war in Yemen. Cha Bagicha Dhan Puruskar is an initiative with state government. So it is an initiative of Assam government to provide financial support to the people who are working in tea gardens. Now recently, Assam was also in news because of India's first multimodal logistic park. So this is going to be in Jogighopa in Assam. Which country is going to set a public platform to track the polluters? So this country is China. It is going to set up new information platform so that it can track the emissions of polluting enterprises. And with the help of this database, it is going to penalize those who are not going to follow the guidelines. India held its high-level dialogue on trade and investment with which association? So this association is European Union, and this was the first high-level dialogue on trade and investment with European Union, and that's why it is important. So this dialogue was co-chaired by Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal. Commando Battalion for Resolute Action, that is COBRA, which was in news recently, is a commando force of which CAPF. What is CAPF? It is Central Armed Police Force. So COBRA is a special unit of CRPF. What is CRPF? It is Central Reserve Police Force. So why COBRA unit was in news? Because recently first women team was inducted in this COBRA and it is a part of CRPF. CRPF is a part of CAPF. CAPF stands for Central Armed Police Force. CRPF stands for Central Reserve Police Force. COBRA stands for Commando Battalion for Resolute Action. So it is a commando force of CRPF. Srivilliputturu Megamalai Tiger Reserve, which was approved recently, is situated in which state of India? So it is in Tamil Nadu, and this is the 5th Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu. This will include Megamalai and Srivilliputturu Grizzled Squirrel Wildlife Sanctuary. So now Central has notified it. Therefore, now state government is going to notify it as 5th Tiger Reserve in state of Tamil Nadu. Now, for the protection of tiger, we have Project Tiger. And for the implementation of Project Tiger, we have NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority. Dhobi Durgapur Natural Gas Pipeline, a part of Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga project, is located in which Indian state or union territory? So, first thing first, this Dhobi Durgapur Natural Gas Pipeline is a part of Pradhan Mantri Urja Ganga project, and it is in West Bengal. This was first point. This is second point. Recently, Prime Minister inaugurated it. That's why it was in news. Apart from this, the Prime Minister also inaugurated a unit of Haldia refinery. It is also in West Bengal. Next question is TIP DAP, or whatever you call it, is an application related to which field? So, it is an app which has been developed by the engineers from Assam, and it is a video playing and sharing application, and this is similar to TikTok. The parent company of TikTok is ByteDance. Now recently Assam was also in news because of Assam Mala initiative. The objective is to focus on the infrastructure development in the state, specifically road infrastructure. Assam was also in news because of Pragyan Bharati. Next question is Business Confidence Index, which was making news recently, is released by which institution? So it has been released by NCAER, that is National Council of Applied Economic Research. It is a Delhi-based think tank, and this release is Business Confidence Index. As the name suggests, it specifies the confidence of business community. Now, apart from this index, few other index were in news. One is this Democracy Index. So this has been released by EIU, that is Economist Intelligence Unit. Headquarters is in UK, and as per this index, India is on 53rd position. Last year, India was on 51st position. Next question is Al-Hamal, which was making news recently, is the unmanned space probe of which country? So it is a space probe of UAE. Please note that in English it is called as Hope Mission, or in Arabic it is Al-Hamal. So the examiner may ask you either one. So it is an unmanned space probe of UAE, and this was the first interplanetary mission of any Arab country. It was in news recently because it is expected to reach the orbit of Mars. So few important points. Al-Hamal is also known as Hope Probe. It is by UAE, and therefore UAE is the first Arab country to launch such mission. And this is for Mars, and for this it has collaborated with Japan. Next question is which country clinched the ATP Cup tennis tournament? So answer is Russia, and Russia defeated Italy to clinch this ATP Cup tennis tournament. Recently, Russia was also in news because of START. What is full form of START? It is Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. Russia was also in news because of Open Skies Treaty. So first USA left it, now Russia announced that it is going to left this treaty. Next question is Tapovan Hydel project, which was in news recently, is located in which Indian state or union territory? So it is situated in Uttarakhand. Recently it was in news because of this glacier burst, and because of that two projects were in news. One is this Rishi Ganga small hydro project, and second is Tapovan project. Tapovan project is of NTPC, that is National Thermal Power Corporation. And these projects are located on the banks of Dholi Ganga river in the state of Uttarakhand. Recently, Uttarakhand was also in news because of India's first pollinator park. Next question is which country released its new anti-monopoly guidelines targeting internet platforms? So it has been done by China. So to handle the problem of monopoly on internet platforms, China released the guidelines in this context. Next question is RBI would purchase 4 government securities amounting 20,000 crores through which operation? So it is going to be through OMO, that is open market operations. What is OMO? In OMO, the central bank buy or sell government securities. If it is going to sell government securities, that means it will suck the money out of market. So this way, liquidity in market will be lesser. If it is going to buy government securities from the market, that means it is going to buy that thing, and for that it is going to pay money. And if it is going to pay money, more money will be injected in the market, and therefore liquidity will increase. Next question is which organization has capped the amount of trans fatty acids in oils to 3% for 2021 in India? So this has been done by FSSAI, that is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, and it has fixed the upper limit of 3% of TFA in the oil and fats for year 2021. For 2022, it has been capped to 2%. Actually, FSSAI is trying to reduce this, and this is being done in phased manner. That means for this year, the target is to bring it down to 3%. Next year, the target is to bring it to 2%. Which top populous country
recorded over 15% dip in the registered births year on year. So this country is China. In 2020, the number of registered births was 10.04 million, which is over 15% down from the previous year. And this is fourth consecutive year where China witnessed the decline in the number of registered births. Please note that China had launched one-child policy in late 1970s to slow down the population growth, and this policy was reversed in 2016. Now, China was also in news as it surpassed USA and it became the largest recipient of FDI, that is foreign direct investment. Which institution released the annual report of ombudsman schemes for 2019-20. Now, first thing first, what is the meaning of this term ombudsman? So it is an official that has been appointed for the grievance redressal. So for example, banking ombudsman has been appointed to solve the grievances of people in the banking sector. Now recently RBI, that is our central bank, released annual report of the ombudsman schemes for year 2019-20, and as per this report, all the three ombudsmen, that means banking ombudsman, NBFC ombudsman and digital transactions ombudsman, received around 3.3 lakh complaints, which is much higher than last year, which was 2 lakhs. So you can see there is increment in number of complaints. Present RBI governor is Mr. Shaktikant Das. Which body has set up a subgroup for preparing the National Action Plan for migrant workers? So this has been done by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is an executive body. Prime Minister is the ex-officio chairperson of Niti Aayog, and it is the successor of Planning Commission. So Niti Aayog constituted a subgroup to prepare the National Action Plan for migrant workers, and this was announced by Union Labour Minister Santosh Kumar Gangwar. Apart from that, the Labour Bureau is going to conduct all India survey on migrant workers, and Labour Bureau is under Labour Ministry. Swamitva scheme is implemented by which union ministry? So it is a scheme of Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Objective is to provide the property cards to the property owners with the help of drone surveys, and these surveys will be done by Survey of India. Now answer in comment box, Survey of India is under which union ministry? Now please note that every year on 24th of April, Panchayati Raj Day is celebrated. In this context, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act is important. So this is for rural local government, and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act is related to urban local government. The nodal ministry for this Swamitva is Ministry of Panchayati Raj. As per the latest report of IEA, that is International Energy Agency, what is the position of India in energy consumption? So India is on 4th position and it is world's 4th largest energy consuming country. IEA released this report, India Energy Outlook 2021, and as per this report, India is going to overtake European Union as the 3rd largest energy consumer by 2030. What is IEA? It is International Energy Agency. Rajya Sabha has passed a bill to regularize unauthorized colonies in which state or union territory. So this is our national capital. Rajya Sabha has passed National Capital Territory of Delhi Laws Bill 2021, and this seeks to regularize the unauthorized colonies in Delhi. So there is a campaign, and the name of this campaign is Jahan Jhuggi Wahan Makan. So this bill, which has been passed, will replace the ordinance which was promulgated by our president in December. What is the stake of central government in Tata Communications, which is to be divested? So it was 26.12%. Government has announced that it is going to sell its entire stake of 26.12% in TCL, that is Tata Communications Limited. Which Indian state has topped the list of beneficiaries of Ayushman Bharat Yojana as of 2020? So this state is Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu is followed by Andhra Pradesh and Gujarat. What is the objective of Ayushman Bharat? It aims to provide a health insurance cover up to 5 lakh per family. So please remember this amount, 5 lakh per family. Soyuz 2 carrier rocket is the flagship launch vehicle of which country? So it is the flagship launch vehicle of Russia. Recently, Russia was also in news because of Alexei Navalny. So he is the opposition leader in Russia. Russia was also in news because of Open Skies Treaty, as recently Russia announced its withdrawal from this treaty. USA had already announced its withdrawal from this treaty. USA recently announced that it is going to join United Nations Human Rights Council. It is also going to join World Health Organization. Which scheme is implemented at Anganwadi centers to provide health and preschool education services? So the name of this scheme is ICDS, that is Integrated Child Development Scheme. Now this is very important scheme, and this is a package of 6 services. Please remember these 6 terms. These are immunization, supplementary nutrition, health checkup, then referral services, preschool education, and this is going to be non-formal education, and last is nutrition and health information. This scheme was launched in 1975. The foreign grants received by NGOs, that is non-governmental organizations in the country, are regulated by which act? The act is FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So if you are a non-governmental organization and if you want to receive any foreign funding, then you need to register as per the provisions of this FCRA Act, and this is regulated by MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs. So once any non-governmental organization register themselves, then a unique FCRA registration number is provided, and this registration number is valid for 5 years, and after every 5 years you need to renew it. As per the recent CAG data, CAG stands for Comptroller and Auditor General of India, what is the profit earned by 247 central public sector enterprises during 2018-19? So first thing first, the data is from CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General, and as per this report, 247 central public sector enterprises in our country earned the profit of Rs 1.7 lakh crore. Startup grants is associated with which bank? So this is an initiative of Hdfc Bank, and Hdfc Bank is inviting applications from startups and entrepreneurs for its startup grants initiative, and this is a part of Parivartan. This Parivartan is a part of its CSR activities. That means CSR activities of Hdfc Bank. What is CSR? It is corporate social responsibility. So as the name suggests, these are the tasks which are completed by the corporates as a part of their social activities, and this CSR is mandated in the Companies Act. Where is the headquarters of Indian Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Limited located? So the headquarters is in Gurugram. Recently this Indian Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Limited was in news because recently it was announced that this IDPL and Rajasthan Drugs and Pharmaceuticals Limited would be closed. Apart from that, the government also announced that they are going to disinvest in Hindustan Antibiotics Limited, Bengal Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals Limited, and in Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharmaceuticals Limited. Disinvestment target for this year is 1.75 lakh crore. Formation and promotion of 10,000 belongs to which category of scheme? Actually, formation and promotion of 10,000 FPO, that is Farmer Producers Organization. So this is a part of Central Sector Scheme. Name is Formation and Promotion of 10,000 FPO, that is Farmers Produce Organizations. Recently it was in news because of budgetary allocation. So these FPO will be provided financial assistance of up to Rs 18 lakh per organization for a period of 3 years. NCB, that is Narcotics Control Bureau, released a joint action plan to prevent drug abuse among children, along with which organization? So the organization is NCPCR, that is National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So these two organizations, that is NCPCR and NCB, collaborated to prevent the drug abuse among children. So as per the proposal, various steps will be taken to prevent such drug abuse. Now NCPCR is a statutory body and it is established as per the provisions of CPCR Act. What is CPCR? It is Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and it is an act of 2005, and it is under WCD, that is Ministry of Women and Child Development. Government is to frame design for deep sea fishing vessels to implement which scheme? So the name of scheme is Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. Matsya is related to fisheries sector. So it is a scheme for the development of fisheries sector. Now recently this was in news because the government has set up nodal authority to frame the approved standardized deep sea fishing vessels. Design and specifications. The Major Port Authorities Bill seeks to replace which act? So it is going to replace Major Ports Act of 1963, and this is for the regulation of major ports in our country and to provide the autonomy to these ports. Now for the management of these ports, the Board of Major Port Authority would be created for each major port. Right now, there are trust, that means port trust, to manage these ports. And after this new bill, that means once this new bill will be passed and after its enactment, Board of Major Port Authority would be created for the management of each major port. Okay, please try to answer what is the difference between major port and non-major port. Which type of steel has been included under Production Linked Scheme, that is PLI. So, specialty steel has been included in PLI. As the name suggests, what is PLI? It is Production Linked Incentive. That means your incentive will be based on the production. If you are going to produce more, you will get more incentive. So recently, government has approved inclusion of specialty steel under this Production Linked Incentive Scheme. This has been done to promote the domestic manufacturing of specialty steel. Now, what is the meaning of this term specialty steel? It is also known as alloy steel, and it has special properties like resistance to corrosion or to heavy load. So that's why it was in news. Which is the largest combat exercise of Indian Navy, which is being held in the Indian Ocean region? So the name of this exercise is TROPEX. What is the full form of TROPEX? It is Theatre Level Operational Readiness Exercise, and it is exercised by Indian Navy, and it is Indian Navy's largest exercise, and this is being held in IOR, that is Indian Ocean region. As per the Social Justice and Empowerment Ministry, how many manual scavengers have been identified across country? So the number is 66,692. Now please note that for the rehabilitation of manual scavengers, we have Manual Scavengers and Rehabilitation Act of 2013. Recently, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment released information that there are approximately 66,692 manual scavengers in our country, and highest are in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and it is followed by Maharashtra and Uttarakhand. Which payment company announced that it is going to add cryptocurrency to its network? So this was announced by MasterCard. MasterCard announced that it is going to support certain cryptocurrency directly on its network. Now, in the context of cryptocurrency, there's a term Bitcoin. Recently, our central bank, that is RBI, was also in news because of a digital currency. So, a new bill will be introduced in the parliament to ban all the cryptocurrencies, and then RBI is going to issue official digital currency. Which organization has imposed a penalty of 1 crore on the NSE, that is National Stock Exchange, in co-location case? So this has been done by SEBI. What is SEBI? It is Securities and Exchange Board of India. It has imposed the penalty of 1 crore rupee on National Stock Exchange, and this is in the context of co-location case. So NSE is accused of bypassing the norms and it violated certain rules. That's why SEBI has imposed this penalty on NSE. The NPCI Pay Oath Challenge Global Hackathon is supported by which international platform? So it is supported by APIX. So what is this entire challenge? So it is a payment authorization challenge which is set to be launched by NPCI, that is National Payments Corporation of India, and this hackathon is supported by APIX, and APIX is the world's first open architecture API marketplace. So the hackathon is organized to get alternatives for the authentication of UPI transactions. What is UPI? It is Unified Payment Interface. Mugri Motapong Bale, which was in news, is a wetland located in which state? So it is a wetland located near Dibru-Sakhova National Park in Assam. Recently, this was in news because a rare duck species, Mandarin duck, was spotted in this area, and this was spotted in Assam after 118 years. Usually it is found in East Asia. Now recently, Assam was also in news because India's first multimodal logistic park is going to be in Assam in Jogighopa. Apart from that, India's biggest multimodal logistic park is going to be in Gujarat. Recently, Gujarat was in news because it renamed dragon fruit, and the new name of dragon fruit is Kamalam. Reward project is to be implemented by which state? So it is a project related to Odisha government. Name of project is Reward. It stands for Rejuvenating Watersheds for Agricultural Resilience through Innovative Development. So the objective is to improve the watersheds
And for this project, World Bank is going to provide the financial support. Recently, Odisha was also in news because India's first thunderstorm research test bed will be established in Odisha. Apart from that, Odisha was also in news because it is going to build a memorial for those who lost their life because of COVID-19. Odisha was also in news because of Pattachitra. Answer in comment box, what is it? Which day is observed on 10th of February and 10th of August every year in our country? So this is National Deworming Day and it is observed every year on 10th of February and on 10th of August. Objective of this initiative is to spread awareness about worms and to eradicate the intestinal worms. These are also known as STH, that is soil transmitted helminthus. Now apart from that, on second Monday of February, the Epilepsy Day is observed. This time it was on 8th of February. On 11th of February, Unani Day was observed. On 12th of February, Lunar New Year was celebrated. Which state government launched a digital platform called Knowledge Mission to promote employment and skilling? So this has been launched by Kerala. And the implementing authority is KDISC, that is Kerala Development and Innovation Strategy Council. Recently, Kerala was also in news as it is the first state in our country to introduce MSP for vegetables. It was also in news because of Arya Rajendran. Arya Rajendran is the youngest mayor in our country and she is the mayor from Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. The India Toy Fair was launched in which year? So it was launched in 2021. Objective is to promote domestic manufacturing of toys and this program will be organized from 27th of February to 2nd of March. Objective is to give a boost to the toy industry. Swabhlambhan Sashakt Mega Campaign has been launched by the Confederation of Women Entrepreneurs of India and which entity? So this entity is SIDBI. SIDBI in association with COWE has launched this Swabhlambhan Sashakt Mega Campaign. What is SIDBI? It is Small Industries Development Bank of India. So this campaign has been launched to promote the Stand Up India scheme. Under Stand Up India scheme, the loan is provided to set up new enterprise and this loan is provided to at least one SC or ST borrower and at least one woman borrower. Now, SIDBI is Small Industries Development Bank of India. It is the implementation authority for PM Swanidhi scheme. PM Swanidhi scheme is a scheme for street vendors and it is a scheme by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Where is the Brahmaputra Valley Fertilizers Corporation Limited? So it is in Assam. Previously it was named as Namru Fertilizer Complex. It is situated on the bank of Dili River in Assam. Recently it was in news because CCEA, that is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, approved the proposal of Department of Fertilizers for a aid of 100 crore rupees to this BVFCL so that it can continue its operations for its urea manufacturing. Now, first thing first, who is the head of the CCEA? That is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So this committee is headed by Prime Minister. And this Brahmaputra Valley Fertilizer Corporation Limited is in Assam. The RBI restricts withdrawal from the bank under the provisions of which act? So RBI is the regulator of banking sector in our country. RBI stands for Reserve Bank of India. And it can impose restrictions on the withdrawals from specific banks. And this is being done as per the provisions of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. So why this entire issue was in news? Because recently RBI imposed restrictions on withdrawals from Independence Cooperative Bank Limited and it is situated in Nasik. Nasik is in Maharashtra. So why this was done? This was done because of the present liquidity position of the bank. RBI is our banking sector regulator. It was recently in news because of DSIB. So DSIB stands for Domestic Systemically Important Banks. So these banks are vital for our economy. FAME India scheme is associated with which sector? So it is related to electric vehicle. Actually, FAME stands for Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of Hybrid and Electric Vehicles in India. First thing first, which is the nodal ministry for the scheme? So the nodal ministry for the scheme is Ministry of Heavy Industry. Objective is to promote electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. Hybrid vehicles means what? Hybrid vehicles means those who are running on your current fuel system, that is on petrol or diesel or gas, and they can run on electric concept also. That means they can run with the help of battery as well. So this will have combination of both. Now recently, Delhi government announced a policy for the promotion of electric vehicles, and the name of this policy is Switch Delhi. So recently this FAME scheme was in use because the phase 2 of FAME scheme is implemented with a total budgetary allocation of 10,000 crore rupees. And as per this scheme, subsidies will be provided for the promotion of electric vehicles. As per recent study, the tap water assess in which state is a predictor of dengue infection risk. So this is about New Delhi. Recently, a study was published in PLOS Neglected Tropical Disease Journal. And as per that, the tap water assess in the densely populated areas of Delhi is a strong predictor of dengue contraction risk. So a survey was conducted, and as per that survey, it was found that the houses, those who are having access to tap water, were associated with the higher risk of virus exposure. Now, what is the meaning of this term? Neglected tropical disease. So these are diseases which are found in the tropical countries, and usually these diseases are neglected. Which organization, in association with the European Union, is launching 40 million euro COVID-19 vaccine program for its 6 former Soviet republics. So this has been done by European Union in association with World Health Organization. So this is a COVID vaccine program for 6 former Soviet republics, and these 6 countries are Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, Ukraine and Moldova. So European Union in association with World Health Organization is going to provide vaccines to these countries. Recently, WHO was in news because Dr. Harshvardhan presided over the executive board of WHO. Recently, WHO was also in news because USA decided to rejoin WHO. Which organization is to supply the super rapid gun mounts for Indian Navy? So BHEL is going to supply the super rapid gun mounts for Indian Navy. What is BHEL? It is Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. So it is a public sector entity, and the headquarters of BHEL is in New Delhi. So it is going to provide these super rapid gun mounts, and these are going to be for Indian Navy. Recently, Indian Navy was in news because of Tropex. So Tropex 21 was in news. What is Tropex? It is a largest exercise by Indian Navy, and this was organized in Indian Ocean region. Which state or union territory has associated with the UK-based space agency for flood forecasting? So Uttar Pradesh has collaborated with UK-based space agency for flood forecasting. So Jammu and Kashmir has collaborated with UK-based space agency for flood forecasting. And the name of this program is National Space Innovation Program. As per the recent government release, which state suffered the highest crop loss due to floods in 2019? So this is Madhya Pradesh. So in 2019, this was worst hit state in terms of crop loss because of floods. Recently, Madhya Pradesh was also in news because of Jal Abhishekam initiative. The state was also in news because of Police Museum on Chambal Dacoits. Which country has unveiled a draft Humans in Space Policy 2021? So this has been unveiled by our space organization ISRO. ISRO stands for Indian Space Research Organization. The headquarters of ISRO is in Bengaluru. It is under Department of Space. Present ISRO chief is Dr. K. Sivan. So ISRO has recently unveiled the draft Humans in Space Policy, and this policy seeks to facilitate startups and the local industries, that means indigenous industries, to build the technologies for the human space program of ISRO. What is the new upper limit or upper ceiling for family pension as per the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions? So the upper limit is 1,25,000. Previously it was 4,500. So this is about the provisions for upper limit for a family pension. Now under this ministry there is a department, and it is Department of Pension and Pensioners Welfare. This is under Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. Present Minister for Ministry of Personnel is Dr. Jitendra Singh. Which union ministry announces the IIP, that is Index of Industrial Production? So this is announced by CSO, that is Central Statistical Organization, and the CSO is under MOSPI. What is MOSPI? It is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So this ministry released the Index of Industrial Production. As the name suggests, it is a data to reflect the industrial production in our country. Now as per the recent edition, this IIP grew 1% for December 2020. So IIP is an indicator of industrial activity in the economy. Now, in this IIP, core sectors represents about 40% of weightage of this IIP. Yoshiro Mori, who was in news recently, is a former Prime Minister of which country? So he is a former Prime Minister of Japan. Recently he was in news because he resigned from the post of President of Tokyo Organizing Committee for Tokyo Olympics. Please note that Tokyo is the host of 2021 Olympic Games. Tokyo is in Japan. And Yoshiro Mori was the head of this organization committee for these games. Recently, one more former Prime Minister of Japan was in news, and he is Shinzo Abe. So why he was in news? Because recently he was given Padma Vibhushan Award by Government of India. Recently Japan was in news as it announced that it is going to join this Five Eyes Alliance. What is this Five Eyes Alliance? So it is an association of 5 countries to share the intelligence. So these 5 countries are Canada, USA, UK, Australia and New Zealand. Now Japan announced that it is going to be part of this alliance. Which country has detected huge optical flare in BL Lassate, an oldest astronomical object? So this has been detected by India, and recently DST, that is the Department of Science and Technology, reported that Indian astronomers have detected huge optical flare in BL Lassate. Now what is this BL Lassate? It is a supermassive black hole or blazar. Now recently this DST was also in news because of SERB. What is SERB? It is Science and Engineering Research Board. So recently this board was in news because it announced SERB Women Excellence Award. SERB stands for Science and Engineering Research Board and it is under DST, that is Department of Science and Technology. Which country records the world's highest number of road crash deaths? So it is unfortunate that India is on top position in terms of road crash death. Recently World Bank released a report and it is traffic crash injuries and disabilities, the burden on Indian society. Our road transport minister is Nitin Gadkari. Recently he was in news because he launched India's first Cng Tractor. So this Cng Tractor has been converted from diesel. That means this was a diesel tractor which was converted into CNG. CNG stands for compressed natural gas. Now the CNG is a clean fuel and therefore it will have lower carbon emission. So this will reduce the amount of pollutants in the environment and this is more affordable than diesel. So A, it is affordable. B, it will be less polluting. As per the recent government data, what percentage of India's prison inmates are illiterate? So recently MHA, that is Ministry of Home Affairs, released a data related to India's prison inmates. And as per that, 23.37% of total inmates are illiterate. Now again, you need not to remember the exact figure, but you should have a fair idea that this is the number of people. Now recently MHA was in news because of Ayushman CAPF scheme. So it is a scheme for CAPF, that is Central Armed Police Forces. CAPF are under Ministry of Home Affairs. So for this Ayushman CAPF, Ministry of Home Affairs has collaborated with National Health Authority. Maharaja Suhaldev was the ruler associated with which ancient Indian city? So he was associated to Sravasti and this was in Gangetic Plains and presently it is in Uttar Pradesh. Why it was in news? Because Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of Memorial of Maharaja Suhaldev. So this is in Uttar Pradesh. To be specific, this memorial is going to be in Bahraich. Recently, the state of Uttar Pradesh was in news because it introduced a system of allocation of Unicodes, a 16-digit Unicode to the land holdings in the state of Uttar Pradesh. In which state the Chittora Lake is situated? So this lake is in state of Uttar Pradesh and a river named Teri Nadi originates from this lake. It is also an important Hindu pilgrimage site. Why it was in news? Because recently Prime Minister inaugurated certain development works in this Chittora Lake. Now recently Uttar Pradesh was also in news because of one more lake and it is Keetham Lake. It is also known as Sur Sarovar. So this is a bird sanctuary in Agra and this Keetham Lake is in this Sur Sarovar bird sanctuary in Agra. Why it was in news? Because recently it became a part of Ramsar site. So Ramsar is a convention for the protection of wetlands, and Ramsar Convention was signed in 1971. Ramsar is a name of place in Iran. Prime Minister dedicated the 6,000 crore petrochemical complex of BPCL in which state? So it was launched in Kerala at Kochi factory of BPCL, and recently Prime Minister Modi dedicated this Bharat Petroleum's petrochemical complex for propylene derivatives. Now this PDPP will produce acrylic acid, oxo alcohol and acrylides. Usually these products are imported in India, but now with the help of this new plant, these will be manufactured in our country. The center is in Kerala. Recently Kerala was, because it opened its first human milk bank. Kerala was also in news because of India's first gender park. Kerala was also in news because of India's first labor movement museum. So the first labor movement based museum is going to be set up in Kerala. Grand Anicut Canal System is located in which state? So this is also known as Kalanai, and it is one of the oldest water regulating structure in the world, and it was constructed during Chola regime. Recently it was in news because Prime Minister laid foundation stone for the extension, renovation and modernization of this Grand Anicut Canal System, and this is in Tamil Nadu. Recently Tamil Nadu was in news as it will have 5th Tiger Reserve. Answer in comment box, what is the name of this Tiger Reserve? We discussed this question a couple of days ago. Now Tamil Nadu was also in news because it won Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy, and it is a T20 tournament related to cricket. Olympus Mons, which was in news recently, is the largest in the solar system. So it is the largest volcano in the solar system, and it is present in the planet Mars, and it is a type of shield volcano, and it is over 2 times the height of Mount Everest. Why it was in news? Because recently the Hope mission of UAE sent the images of Mars, and this recently captured the Olympus Mons volcano. So this is the largest volcano in the solar system. The Hope probe is a mission on Mars by UAE. Recently Tianwen-1 was also in news. It is also a mission on Mars, and it is by China. Apart from that, NASA's mission for Mars was also in news, and it is Perseverance. So you just need to remember the name along with the appropriate country. So NASA is the space agency of USA. Bayern Munich, which won the final of FIFA Club World Cup in Qatar, is the football club of which country? So it is a football club of Germany, and recently it won the FIFA Club World Cup, and it held in Qatar. Qatar is a country in West Asia. The capital of Qatar is Doha. Qatar is the host of FIFA 2022 World Cup. Recently, Doha was in news because of US-Taliban peace deal. Taliban is a militant group of Afghanistan. Which organization endorsed the first ever voluntary guidelines on food systems and nutrition? So this was endorsed by CFS, that is Committee on World Food Security, and this endorsed the first ever voluntary guidelines on the food system and nutrition. Please note that the CFS is a international and intergovernmental platform, and it is co-funded by United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, that is UNFAO. FAO stands for Food and Agriculture Organization. The headquarters of FAO is in Rome. It is in Italy. Finance Ministry is to infuse a capital of amount into the 3 state-owned general insurance companies. So 3,000 crore will be infused into the government general insurance companies, and this will be done by the Finance Ministry. Amount is 3,000 crore. So these 3 companies are NICL, that is National Insurance Company Limited, UIICL, that is United India Insurance Company Limited, and Oriental Insurance Company Limited. Apart from that, the government decided to increase the authorized share capital of these companies. So the authorized share capital of NICL is 7500 crores. The authorized share capital of UIICL and OICL is 5,000 crore rupees each. Mahatma Gandhi National Fellowship Program has been launched by which union ministry? So this has been launched by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. This is a nationwide program which has been launched in partnership with various IIM, that is Indian Institute of Management, and this has been launched as a part of Sankalp initiative. What is Sankalp? It stands for Skill Acquisition and Knowledge Awareness for Livelihood Promotion Scheme. Now for the skill development in our country, there is an initiative and it is Skill India initiative. And the implementation authority for this initiative is NCDC, that is National Skill Development Corporation. Which country has launched cargo ship with supplies to ISS, that is International Space Station? So this country is Russia, and it has launched this initiative Progress MS-16. So with this, it successfully loaded the supplies for ISS, that is International Space Station. Now please note that this ISS is a collaboration of different space agencies, and it is habitable artificial satellite in low Earth orbit. As per recent report, startups founded in which Indian city are more than in San Francisco in the past 5 years? So answer is Bengaluru. That means the number of startups founded in Bengaluru has been higher than in San Francisco. San Francisco is in USA, Bengaluru is in Karnataka. So recently a report was released in this context, and it was released by Traction. So this is a name of company which track the investment. As per this report, in terms of startups, Bengaluru is on top position and it surpassed San Francisco. Now in the context of startups, there is initiative Startup India. It is an initiative by Commerce Ministry. It was launched in 2016. Recently it completed 5 years. On that occasion, the Commerce Ministry in association with BIMSTEC organized Prarambh initiative. This Prarambh summit was organized on the occasion of 5 years of this Startup India scheme. Which country announced its liberalized guidelines to its national mapping policy and geospatial data? So this has been announced by India, and recently DST, that is Department of Science and Technology, announced major changes to its mapping policy. Now this was done to enable the Indian companies to access the modern mapping technologies. Now there is no restriction on the acquisition and production of geospatial data and geospatial data services including maps. DST is under MST, that is Ministry of Science and Technology. Under this, 2 departments are there. One is DBT, another is DST. Which Indian state has launched mass scheme to provide meal at 5 rupees to the poor people? So this has been done by West Bengal. The Chief Minister is Mamata Banerjee. The name of scheme is MA. Objective is to provide subsidized meal to the poor people. Recently West Bengal was also in news because of first tram library. It was also in news because of first boat library. Apart from that, the biggest solar tree was installed in West Bengal recently. West Bengal was also in news because of India's first underwater metro project. In addition to that, the state was also in news because of Sarkar Aapke Dwar initiative. What is INS Karanj, which was in news recently with reference to Indian defense? So it is a Scorpion submarine. Why it was in news? Because recently Indian Navy got its 3rd Scorpion submarine and it was commissioned in Mumbai as INS Karanj. It is a part of Project 75. So Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited has delivered 3 Scorpion class submarines to the Indian Navy so far. And what are these 3 Scorpion class submarines? One is INS Khanderi, one is INS Kalvari and INS Karanj. Recently, Indian Navy was also in news because of TROPEX. So, it was the largest exercise by Indian Navy and it was organized in Indian Ocean region. The long-range surface-to-air missile was developed by which organization? So, it has been developed by DRDO. What is DRDO? It is Defense Research and Development Organization. It is under MOD, that is Ministry of Defense. So, recently, this final batch of LRSAM, that is long range surface to air missile, was flagged off. Now what is the meaning of this term? Surface to air. So suppose this is the surface, so it will be launched from this and then it is going to hit the target in the air. So this missile system has been developed by DRDO in collaboration with different entities and it has been integrated by BDL. What is BDL? It is Bharat Dynamics Limited. So since this missile system has the capability to hit the target in the air, this will provide us defense against the aerial targets including fighter aircrafts and missiles. So it can destroy any upcoming missile in the air. Aribada is a term related to which species? So this question is repeated in various examinations. It is related to sea turtle and it describes the mass migration of sea turtle, and a large number of female sea turtles assemble at the nesting site on the beach. Now, why it was in news recently? Because of different cyclones such as Cyclone Nivar and Burevi. The nesting season got delayed this time. Usually it starts in November, but because of these cyclonic events and because of climate change conditions, this nesting season got delayed. Which institution releases the data on the credit and deposit measures of banks in India? So it is released by Central Bank. So it is released by our central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India. So recently RBI released the data on the credit and deposit of banks across the country. And as per this recent data, the bank credit grew at the rate of 5.93%. Now, if you are preparing for any bank examination, then obviously this exact number is important for you. But if you are preparing for any other exam, then you just need to remember that there is approximately 6% growth in the bank credit. On the other hand, the deposits grew at the rate of 11%. Which manufacturing group has proposed to set up 5,000 crore rupees phone component manufacturing unit in Tamil Nadu? So, this has been proposed by Tata Group, and to be specific, this has been proposed by Tata Electronics. So, they are going to invest 5,000 crore rupees for a phone manufacturing component in Tamil Nadu. Recently, Tamil Nadu was also in news because of Grand Anicut Canal. Heritage Corridor project, which was in news recently, is associated with which state? So, it is associated with Odisha government. And recently, Jagannath Temple Management Committee approved this project. It is a 800 crore rupees project. The objective is to redevelop the temple and its surrounding area. Please note that this Jagannath Temple is 12th century temple and it is situated in Puri in Odisha. And this temple was built by King Anantvarman of Ganga dynasty. Nigerian American economist Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has been appointed as the Director General of which organization? So, C has been appointed as the new DG of WTO, that is World Trade Organization. C is from Nigeria and C is the first African woman to be appointed as the Chief of WTO. What is WTO? It is World Trade Organization. It is an intergovernmental organization and the headquarters of WTO is in Geneva. Anti-radicalism bill, which was in news recently, is associated with which country? So, it is associated to France. Recently, France was in news because of this bill, and this bill aims to strengthen the oversight of mosque, school and sports club. So, this bill has been proposed to get rid of radical Islam. What is the name of electric two-wheeler that has been launched by IIT Madras incubated startup PiBeam? So the name of this startup company is PiBeam. It is incubated by IIT Madras and it has launched electric two-wheeler. And the name of this electric two-wheeler is PiMo. So this vehicle can be charged faster than a smartphone. Giant leatherback turtle nests in which Indian state or union territory? So this turtle is one of the species of sea turtles and it is the largest of these 7 species of sea turtles. They are found in all oceans except Arctic and Antarctic. And in Indian Ocean, they nest at Indonesia, Sri Lanka and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So, Andaman and Nicobar Islands is the correct answer. Recently, this entire issue was in news because of a government proposal for the promotion of tourism sector in the island. And as per environment activist, this will threaten the species of this turtle. Please note that this turtle species is given the legal protection as per the provisions of WPA, that is Wildlife Protection Act. This act was passed in 1972. Which union ministry is going to organize an event named Mushaira, and this event is related to poets? So, Ministry of Minority Affairs is the host of this event. Name of event is Mushaira. It is related to poets. This was conducted on 20th of February and the theme was Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. So this Mushaira is a poetic symposium and it is a part of culture of India and Pakistan. Now recently this Ministry of Minority Affairs was also in news because of Nai Roshni. It is a scheme of development of leadership for minority women. A nodal agency called DIU, that is Digital Intelligence Unit, is to be set up by which union ministry? So this has been set up by Ministry of Communication. Present minister is Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. So recently it was announced that this DIU will be set up, and this is going to address the issues related to unsolicited commercial communication and related to the financial frauds which are done with the help of mobile phones. Now recently, RBI also constituted a committee to prevent the financial frauds through digital lending. So to prevent digital lending frauds, recently RBI constituted a committee, and this committee is headed by Jayant Kumar Das. World Petro Coal Congress and World Future Fuels Summit was organized in which Indian city? So this was organized in New Delhi. This was 11th summit. This was organized in New Delhi, and during this summit, the Petroleum Minister highlighted that public sector companies in our country are investing money to upgrade so that they can produce BS6 fuel. Now what is this BS6? It is Bharat Stage 6. So this BS norms are related to emission standards. Who won the Prani Mitra Award for 2021 by the Animal Welfare of India? So the name of award is Prani Mitra. It was given by the Animal Welfare of India, and it was given to S. Chinmay Krishna. So S. Chinmay Krishna is the founder of Blue Cross of India. It is the country's highest award for animal welfare. Now, coming back to this Animal Welfare Board of India. So, the headquarters of this authority is in Ballabgarh. It is in Haryana. And this Animal Welfare Board of India is a statutory body as per the provisions of Section 4 of Prevention of Cruelties to Animals Act of 1960. Which microblogging platform has commenced its testing of voice direct messages in India? So this has been done by Twitter. That means through DM, that is direct message. Now the users will be able to send the voice message. This is a feature which is being tested by the Twitter in our country. Twitter is a social media platform, and the head of Twitter is Jack Dorsey. Recently Twitter was in news because Indian version of Twitter was recently launched, and the name of this app is Koo. Which Union Ministry has unveiled the draft Blue Economy Policy? So this has been done by Ministry of Earth Sciences. This ministry has unveiled the draft Blue Economy Policy. What is the meaning of this term? Blue Economy. That means exploring our ocean resources in a sustainable way. So this has been done by MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences. Present minister is Dr. Harshvardhan. Recently, this MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences, was also in news because of India's first thunderstorm research test bed, and this is going to be in Odisha. And for this research test bed, MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences, collaborated with DRDO and ISRO. Actually under MOES there is IMD, that is India Meteorological Department, and IMD has collaborated with DRDO and ISRO for this thunderstorm research test bed. The Juvenile Justice Act of 2015 was approved recently after the proposal of which Union Ministry? So this is under the regulation of WCD, that is Ministry of Women and Child Development. Recently, few amendments were approved by the ministry. Now, as per the recent amendments, district magistrates and additional district magistrates are allowed to monitor the functioning of agencies which are implementing this particular act. Now, one homework for you. As per this Juvenile Justice Act, who is considered as a juvenile? Means up to what age a person is considered as juvenile. Please try to find it out. Which Union Ministry conducts all India surveys including survey on migrant and domestic workers? Today, almost all the questions are related to government or ministries because these are few initiatives, so you should be clear about them. So recently, Labour Ministry was in news because of this survey. Recently, Labour Minister Santosh Gangwar launched software applications for 5 All India surveys, and these surveys will be conducted by Labour Bureau. Labour Bureau is under Labour Ministry. So these surveys will be conducted on migrant workers, on domestic workers, on employment generated by the professionals, and on employment generated in the transport sector. And last one is All India Quarterly Establishment Based Employment Survey. Pehla Fagun is a spring festival, and it is celebrated in which country? So it is celebrated in Bangladesh. Capital of Bangladesh is Dhaka. Now recently Bangladesh was in news because on the occasion of Republic Day ceremony, the tri-service contingent of Bangladesh participated in our Republic Day ceremony. And on this Republic Day ceremony, different states presented their tableau, and in this, the tableau of Uttar Pradesh won the award of Best Tableau in States category. Uttar Pradesh was also in news as recently it collaborated with Israel for the water conservation in Bundelkhand region. Recently, Israel was in news because it normalized ties with Bhutan. Recently, Bhutan was in news as Bangladesh signed its first PTA, that is Preferential Trade Agreement, with Bhutan. Actually, Bhutan was the first country to recognize Bangladesh. Jilling Lenglota iron ore block and Gwali iron ore block have been inaugurated in which Indian state? So these are related to Odisha. Name of these iron ore blocks are Jilling Lenglota and Gwali iron ore block. So recently, Union Minister for Mines Prahlad Joshi and Chief Minister of Odisha Naveen Patnaik jointly inaugurated these two iron ore blocks. Which country chaired the Commonwealth Law Ministers meeting on the legal aspects of COVID-19? So, the Law Minister of Sri Lanka was the chairperson of this meeting, and this was a meeting of Commonwealth nations. From Indian side, the Secretary in the Ministry of Law and Justice represented. Now, you need not to remember the name of particular secretary for this question. Now, Sri Lanka was also in news because of Vaccine Maitri initiative. What was the Vaccine Maitri initiative? So this was a step by India to provide support to the neighbors. How? By providing them vaccines for COVID-19. So as the name suggests, it is an initiative for vaccines. So Sri Lanka was one of the beneficiaries of this Vaccine Maitri initiative. Which Indian personality has been appointed as the Under Secretary General and Associate Administrator of UNDP? What is UNDP? It is United Nations Development Program. And recently, Usha Rao Monari has been appointed as the Under Secretary General and Associate Administrator of UNDP. UNDP is United Nations Development Program. It is part of United Nations. Present Secretary General of United Nations is Antonio Guterres. Antonio Guterres is from Portugal. Capital of Portugal is Lisbon. Now recently, UNDP was also in news because of India's first social impact bond. And recently, Pimpri Chindwad Municipal Corporation signed an agreement with UNDP to create India's first social impact bond. Which country is the largest funder of WHO? That is World Health Organization. So this country is USA. Recently, USA was in news because US Secretary of State Blinken announced that USA is going to pay $200 million to WHO. USA is the largest funder of WHO. The previous president of USA decided to withdraw from WHO, but now the current president, that is Joe Biden, announced that USA is going to rejoin it. Apart from that, USA is going to rejoin Paris deal. Actually, it officially joined this. Apart from that, USA is going to rejoin UN Human Rights Council. Who chairs the Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog? So, it is chaired by Prime Minister. This Governing Council is the apex body, that means the topmost body of this Niti Aayog, and it will have all the chief ministers, all the lieutenant governors of union territories, and the union ministers and senior government officials. Now, this Niti Aayog is executive body. It is successor of Planning Commission. What is the meaning of this term executive body? That means it has been constituted through an executive order, and there is no constitutional or legal backing for this. So it was formed in 2015. Niti Aayog stands for National Institution for Transforming India. So the chairperson of this Aayog is Prime Minister. CEO of this Aayog is Mr. Amitabh Kant, and Vice Chairperson is Mr. Rajiv Kumar. What is the name of Mars rover of NASA which recently landed on Red Planet? First thing first, what is Red Planet? It is Mars. What is the name of Space Agency of USA? It is NASA, that is National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So what is the name of rover? Name is Perseverance. It was sent by NASA to Mars. Recently it was in news because it landed on the surface of Mars. Now what is Ingenuity? It is the name of helicopter by NASA for Mars. Now recently few other Mars missions were in news. One is Hope Probe. So it is a mission by UAE. The inflation target is set by the central government in consultation with RBI once in how many years? So it is set by the central government in consultation with central bank once in 5 years. What is inflation? Inflation means increase in price or price rise. What is deflation? That means decrease in price or decrement in price. Inflation deflation. What is the meaning of term disinflation? That means slow rate of price rise. That means slow down in the rate of price rise. What is the meaning of stagflation? This is your homework. Okay, now coming back to this inflation target. So inflation target is set by central government in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India, and then this MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee, make the policy adjustment to keep the inflation within this specified limit. What is Helena, which was in news recently? So it is a missile system, and Helena is the Indian Army version of missile system. Actually, it is the Heli version of Nag missile. That's why Heli plus Na. On the other hand, Dhurvastra is the Air Force version. These are designed and developed by DRDO. Recently, they were tested successfully. DRDO is Defense Research and Development Organization. It is under MOD. Recently, it was in news because of Rakshita. Rakshita is bike ambulance, and recently DRDO provided these bike ambulance to CRPF, that is Central Reserve Police Force. The Agriculture Ministry has obtained approval from DGCA for the use of drones for which scheme? So first thing first, what is this DGCA? It is Directorate General of Civil Aviation. So recently, Agriculture Ministry obtained approval from DGCA for the use of drones. Why they are going to use drones? That means why Agriculture Ministry need drones? They need drones for the surveillance of fields. And on the basis of that, this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana will be implemented. Now, this is a crop insurance scheme. So, with the help of drones, it will be analyzed that how much damage has been done to the crops. And on the basis of that damage, the insurance claim is given. So, why Agriculture Ministry need approval from DGCA? Because in order to fly drones in our country, you need approval from DGCA. Coronil is a medicine developed by which company? So it was in news because of certain controversy, and it is a medicine by Patanjali Ayurveda. Recently, it was in news that WHO approved this as a treatment for coronavirus. However, later WHO sidelined, and it mentioned that it has not reviewed or certified the effectiveness of any traditional medicine for the treatment of COVID-19. So that's why it was in news. So in exam, they may ask you a simple question that it is associated to which company. What is the name of fund set up by the Government of India to complete the stalled housing projects? So the name of fund is Swami Fund. What is the full form of Swami? It stands for Special Window for the Completion of Construction of Affordable and Mid-Income Housing Projects. Recently, it was in news because of certain decisions by Government of India. So what is important from exam perspective? A, the name of fund, that is Swami Fund. B, it is for stalled housing projects, and it was set up by the Government of India with a corpus of 250 billion rupees. And who is the fund manager? So SBI Cap Venture Limited is the fund manager. Recently it was in news because this fund is set to deliver its first finished apartment. Karlapat Wildlife Sanctuary is situated in which state of India? So it is in Odisha. Recently, this wildlife sanctuary was in news because of sudden death of certain elephants. So that is why this was in news. Now, for the protection of elephants, recently, Suraksha Portal was launched by the government. To be specific, it was launched by MOEF and CC, that is Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Every year, Elephant Day is celebrated on 12th of August. Apart from that, recently, the first elephant hospital was opened in Mathura. Mathura is in Uttar Pradesh. Which country reported the world's first case of bird flu strain H5N8 being transmitted to human beings? So, the first instance was reported in Russia. First instance in the sense that first instance of transmission of disease from birds to humans. And it is a strain of bird flu, name is H5N8. So, this matter was recently reported to WHO. WHO is World Health Organization. USA is the biggest source of funding for WHO. Recently, USA was also in news as it decided to rejoin this World Health Organization. Ankita Raina is associated with which sports? So, she is a tennis player, and recently she was in news because of Phillip Island Trophy. This tournament held in Melbourne, and she won this tournament along with her Russian partner Kamila Rakhimova. So that's why she was in news. And with this win, she can reach the
top 100 in WTA rankings in doubles. Why doubles? Because there were 2 players. What is WTA? It is Women's Tennis Association. CSIR CLRI is conducting a national survey on which subject to formulate an Indian standard. So you might have seen the EU, UK or US on the shoes. Now similarly, we are working on our Indian shoe size or footwear size standard. That's why CLRI, that is Central Leather Research Institute, is conducting a pan-India survey so that we can have a proper footwear size standard on the basis of Indian people. The EU, UK or US systems are developed on the basis of their own people. Now we are conducting a survey so that we can have our own standard of shoe size. Which body has launched a rural e-mobility program? What is the objective of this program? Objective is to encourage people to switch to the electric vehicles. So this program has been conducted by CSC e-governance service. What is CSC? It is Common Service Center, and CSC is a SPV, that is Special Purpose Vehicle of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Now recently it started a campaign to encourage people to switch to the electric vehicles, and this will help in facilitating the loan for the purchase of new electric vehicles. Damage Control Simulator, that is DCS for Indian Navy, will be set up in which state or union territory? So this DCS of Indian Navy was in news as it would be set up in Port Blair, and it is in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Recently, the foundation was laid down for this project, and this would be established by Goa Shipyard Limited. Recently, Indian Navy was also in news because of IFC, that is Information Fusion Center. So this is a fusion center of Indian Navy. It means all the information related to Indian Navy projects is collected here, and from that center, this entire information is coordinated and surveilled. Which state has recently come out with a Karwa tourism policy? So this is the state of Maharashtra. Objective is to promote tourism and to encourage the tourism of remote areas of state of Maharashtra. This will create more employment opportunities in those remote areas. Recently, Maharashtra was also in news because of jail tourism. So state is promoting those jails where freedom fighters were jailed. Which bank has launched a dedicated app to provide low-cost digital payments infrastructure to the merchants? So this has been done by State Bank of India. Name of app is Yono Merchant. So this will provide low-cost digital payment infrastructure to the merchants. Recently, SBI was also in news because of DSIB status. So 3 banks are given the status of domestic systemically important banks. These are HDFC, ICICI and SBI. This status is given by the central bank of our country, that is Reserve Bank of India. Signed a line of credit agreement with which country for maritime capacity building? So this has been done with Maldives. Capital is Malé. And this agreement has been signed between the Government of Maldives and Exim Bank. Recently, our External Affairs Minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar, was on visit of Maldives and Mauritius. Now, what is the meaning of this term, line of credit? So, it is a soft loan. Please note that it is not a grant. Space entrepreneurship and enterprise development is an initiative of which organization? So, this is an initiative of ISRO. What is ISRO? It is Indian Space Research Organization. Chairperson of ISRO is K. Sivan. The objective of this initiative is to provide encouragement to the startups and to MSME who are working in the field of space. Name of initiative is SEED, that is Space Entrepreneurship and Enterprise Development. Now this ISRO is under DOS, that is Department of Space. Which country has created a new national ministry for extraterrestrial space affairs? So in simplest terms, to promote the space activities, this country has created a new ministry, and the name of this country is Nicaragua. It is a country in Central America. Now recently, few other governments were in news because of creation of new ministries. So recently, Japan created a new ministry for loneliness. This was done to prevent the increasing rate of suicides. Now please note that in Asia, Japan is first such country. That means first country to do so. However, globally, UK, that is United Kingdom, is the first country to establish such ministry.
Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram celebrate their statehood day on which date? So, these two states celebrate their statehood day on 20th of February because these two states attained their statehood on 20th of February in 1987, and this was done after 53rd Amendment of the Indian Constitution. So, couple of important things. First, this date is important, that is 20th of February. Second is this 53rd Constitutional Amendment Act is important. Actually, in 1972, the SNEFA, that is Northeast Frontier Agency, was renamed as Union Territory of Arunachal Pradesh, and then in 1987, it was granted the status of state. Passport Seva Program is an initiative of which Union Ministry? So, it is an initiative of MEA, that is Ministry of External Affairs. Recently, it was in news because of this DigiLocker platform. So now, the citizens can submit the documents for passport, and these documents can be submitted with the help of DigiLocker platform. What is DigiLocker? It is similar to a locker where you keep your important things. So, it is a virtual or digital locker, and it is an initiative of MEITY, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So now, it was in news because the documents which are in DigiLocker will be considered at par with the original physical documents. Which is the most trafficked mammal in the world? So it is pangolin. Pangolin is the world's most trafficked mammal. IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature, has classified all the 8 species of pangolin as threatened to critically endangered. So previously the status was threatened. Now these 8 species have been classified as critically endangered. Please note that every 3rd Saturday of February month is celebrated as World Pangolin Day to spread the awareness. And this time it was celebrated on 20th of February. Pangolins are considered as the pest controllers in the ecosystem. Now, to prevent the trafficking of wild flora and fauna, we have a convention, and the name of this convention is Washington Convention. It is also known as CITES, that is Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and of Fauna. Which endangered animal has been cloned successfully in the USA recently? So first thing first, what is the meaning of this term? Cloned. It means creation of an artificial copy or photocopy in simplest term. In technical sense, cloning is a process of producing individuals with identical or virtually identical DNA. That means you are producing individuals with identical or virtually identical DNA. Okay, so in this question, the species is black-footed ferret. It is an endangered species. Recently, it was in news because scientists have successfully cloned this species. It is an endangered species, and this is found in North America. Actually, there are multiple varieties of this ferret, but this black-footed ferret is found in North America only. So this species has been cloned, and the name is, that means the name of this cloned animal is Elizabeth. What is Mission Indradhanush 3.0, which was in news recently? So recently, Union Health Minister launched Mission Indradhanush 3.0. It is a program or vaccination program for the children and for the pregnant women who missed their regular vaccination because of this national lockdown scenario due to coronavirus. First thing first, it is a health initiative. Second thing is that it is a vaccination program, and the target beneficiaries are children as well as pregnant women. Now, this term Indradhanush is also related to one more initiative, and it is related to PSB, that is Public Sector Banks. So there is similar Indradhanush initiative for banking sector. It is also known as Indradhanush Plan or Mission Indradhanush for bankings, and this was related to better governance in the banking sector, and it was formulated on the basis of recommendation of P.J. Nayak committee. So in that Indradhanush banking plan, there is a code A, B, C, D, E, F. So please read about it. What is the full form of these keywords? Atal Paryavaran Bhavan has been inaugurated in which union territory? So it has been inaugurated in the union territory of Lakshadweep. Paryavaran stands for environment. So this was inaugurated by Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar, and this has been inaugurated in the union territory of Lakshadweep. Now recently, Lakshadweep was also in news because of KLI project. What is this KLI project? It is a project to connect Kochi with Lakshadweep Islands with the help of submarine optical fiber cable. Now in this context, usually a term is used and it is USOF. Answer in comment box. What is the full form of this USOF in the context of telecommunications? Which Indian company has signed an agreement with Green State of Norway for setting up the Center of Excellence on Hydrogen? So this has been done by IOCL. IOCL stands for Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Recently, it has signed an agreement with the Green State. It is a company of Norway. Why this agreement has been signed? Center of Excellence on Hydrogen. Reserve Bank of India has brought which bank covered under Article 371F under its regulatory purview? Now, if you know about Article 371F, it contains the special provisions related to Sikkim. So now, this State Bank of Sikkim will be under the regulatory purview of Reserve Bank of India. This bank was established in which Arabian country has approved its women to join the armed forces? So this country is Saudi Arabia. Now women are allowed to join armed forces. Recently, the country was also in news as it is going to be the host of 2034 edition of Asian Games. Answer in comment box which country is going to host Asian Games in 2030. Mass migration of blue earthworms was recently observed in which Indian state? So correct answer is Meghalaya. Recently, ZSI, that is Geological Survey of India, prepared a report, and this is the first time that such report has been prepared on the two-way mass migration of blue earthworms. So these blue earthworms migrate 2 times in a year. They migrate uphill in spring and downhill in autumn season. The Code of Practice on Disinformation and Misinformation is associated with which country? So this is related to Australia. Recently, it introduced Code of Practice on Disinformation and Misinformation. So idea is to prevent the fake news and disinformation on online platforms. And it has been prepared by DZ. What is DZ? It is Digital Industry Group Inc. It is a non-for-profit organization. Now recently, Australia was also in news because of media bargaining code. Center for Drone Pilot Training and Service of Drones has been recently inaugurated in which Indian state? So it has been recently inaugurated in Guwahati in Assam. And this has been inaugurated in association with Electronics Sector Skill of India. And this is 15th Center of Indian Institute of Drones. The headquarters of this Indian Institute of Drones is in Noida. Noida is in Uttar Pradesh. So recently the 15th Center for Drones was started in Guwahati in Assam. It is a center of Indian Institute of Drones. Now, why such centers are established? These centers train the drone pilots as per the guidelines of DGCA, which is the first country to have captured and released the audio from Mars. So this was done by NASA. NASA is the space agency of USA. Name of NASA's rover is Perseverance. Name of NASA's helicopter is Ingenuity. Recently, Hope Pro was also in news in the context of Mars mission. It is related to UAE. In which country the 30th Adriatic Pearl tournament took place? So this tournament held in Montenegro. It is a country in Europe. To be specific, the tournament held in Budva. Why it was in news? Because Indian women's team topped the tournament. Uzbekistan was on 2nd position and Czech Republic was on 3rd position. And Indian women boxing team won the 5 medals in this tournament. And for her performance, Vinka, she is a boxer from India, has been awarded the best women boxer of the tournament. Which organization in India is to co-chair 2021 Asia Economic Dialogue? So the event is organized by Ministry of External Affairs, and for this year it will be co-chaired by Pune International Center of India. Ministry of External Affairs is headed by External Affairs Minister Mr. S. Jaishankar. Now please note that this MEA is the nodal ministry for the extradition related issues. Recently, the extradition of Nirav Modi was in news as the court in UK approved the extradition of Nirav Modi. However, there are a lot of legal issues involved in it. So you should know that which is the nodal ministry for extradition. It is MEA, that is Ministry of External Affairs. What type of missile is VLSR-SAM? So it is a SAM, that is surface to air missile. Surface to air means it will be
launched from surface and it is going to hit target in the air. Recently it was in news because of DRDO, as DRDO conducted the trial. DRDO stands for Defense Research and Development Organization. It is under MOD. That was all for the day. Thank you and have a great day.